Also, I've read this book, Infinite Jest, and oh my god, like, if I had had this book my last year of college, which, incidentally, like, the thing with my mom happened again. But we're not going to talk about that. And if I had had this book, it just, it's like everything I ever wanted to say ever. If I can put that into context. Like this character, Hal in Candenza, he's perfect. Like, it's, I spent an hour looking for this, but there's this, like, passage in the book where he, I feel like this isn't a huge spoiler, and personally, since reading Infinite Jest, I feel like you can use as many spoilers as you can get, because, oh my god, I read it and I don't get it, and I'm gonna have to read it again, and that makes me really sad. But it took me an hour to find this passage, because I don't know if you guys know this, Infinite Jest is like 1,000 pages long, and then there's 400 footnotes that you have to constantly be flipping back to. So I had like tabs through this whole book of things I wanted to remember, but I took them all out because I want to read it again and put better tabs, make it more organized so that it makes sense to me. But it took an hour to find this passage. But Hal is like one of the protagonists in the book. There's like 5 protagonists, I swear. Like, they say Hal and Gately are the protagonists, but there are so many main characters. You learn about so many people. But he walked in on his father's suicide, and his father's suicide, he had stuck his head in a microwave and basically just, like, exploded the kitchen. Like, that's something that happens. It's like, okay. But he's like, okay, so here's what Hal said. What I did. I went in there and presented with anger at the grief therapist. I accused the grief therapist of actually inhibiting my attempt to process my grief by refusing to validate my absence of feelings. I told him the truth already. I used foul language and slang. I said I didn't give a damn if he was abundantly credentialed authority figure or not. I called him a shithead. I asked him what the cock-shitting fuck he wanted from me. My overall demeanor was paradoxic. I told him that I didn't feel anything, which was the truth. I said it seemed like he wanted me to feel toxically guilty, which was the truth. I said it seemed like he wanted me to feel toxically guilty for not feeling anything. Notice I was subtly inserting a certain loaded professional grief therapy terms like validate, process as a transitive verb, and toxic guilt. Those were library derived. The grief therapist encouraged me to go with my paradoxic feelings, to name and honor my rage. He got more and more pleased and excited as I angrily told him I flat out refused to feel one iota of guilt of any kind. I said what? I was supposed to have lost even more quickly to fear, so I could have come around to HMH in time to stop himself. It wasn't my fault, I said. It was not my fault. I found him, I shouted. Yeah, and this goes on. And it's just like how the character doesn't feel anything. He feels guilty that he doesn't feel anything. And he has to go to the library to figure out how to tell the grief counselor that he doesn't feel anything. And the best part about like this whole passage is that it ends with a joke. Because the whole time in therapy, Hal never saw the grief therapist's hands. And it was this huge guy with a huge mustache. And when he finally sees his hands, the grief counselor's hands are the size of a 4-year-old girl's. And so he leaves the office and he laughs. He laughs and he laughs and he laughs. He laughs hysterically and he's okay. You know, it's not just, like, he finally, like, it wasn't like him telling the grief counselor that he didn't feel anything. It was just that he finally gets release through laughter. And I think that's what I wanted this to be about. But this book is amazing. Like, it's so big, it's so confusing. But it's like, it doesn't just talk about depression or drugs or dysfunctional family. It like there's all these passages about liars. And like that's what you really get into in dysfunction. You know? Like you don't the problem isn't in like these dysfunctional family movies. It's not the problem isn't that like the mom is crazy or the dad is overbearing or nobody understands the protagonist. That's not the problem. The problem is that everybody's lying. And sometimes people lie so much that they don't even know they're lying anymore. Which is kind of why I have to log back into my computer because it fell asleep. Which is kind of why I wanted to do this. Because I've been trying to tell the truth more because I don't like it. I don't like lying. I like that Harold Clurman quote where it's like, no one likes to take the truth, so you have to make them laugh, and while they're laughing, shove it down their throats. More so. I think he was talking about castor oil, and for me, it sounds like I'm talking about penises. But, you know, whatever works. I'm not an old Jewish man. I mean, I assume he's Jewish. I don't know if he's Jewish. But, yeah. So this is what this is about. It's about truth and laughter and about being honest, because acting is honesty, the truth, in imaginary circumstances. And these circumstances are imaginary, but they're not that imaginary. So that's why I'm posting it to YouTube, is basically what I'm doing here. So, this has been my introduction. I hope that it covered most things. But, facts. Please Call Me Back did receive a staged reading at Meredith College's 2014 celebrating Student Achievement Day. People liked it. And based on what's been happening this year with me reading Infinite Jest, it's a big deal. It took me more than a month, and I don't usually read things for that long. I couldn't finish Gone with the Wind. I finished Infinite Jest. So I'm proud of myself. And I'm going to say I started the Indiegogo because I was feeling sort of stuck. Which is actually a pretty big theme of my play, being stuck. And because I've been auditioning around, and it's just I've come to the realization is that I'm the only person that wants to cast me right now. I mean, I'm not meaning that in like a weird, oh, no one wants to cast me right now, I'm Katie Coop and I'm sad. No, I'm a type, and my type is the best type for my own material. Fact. That's a fact. I'm a very specific type of type. And just like reading all the comedy books, also what I've been doing since I've graduated Meredith, it's that sometimes, like as a woman, there's not a lot for you. And I mean, there's like people find their own way in acting. Like tons of interesting people find their own way. But a lot of times, like, people have to forge that way. Like, Jesus Christ, Mindy Kaling had to, like, do a two-man show playing Ben Affleck. Like, what is that? And, Tina Fey and Rachel Dratch made it by doing a weird Second City two-woman show. Like, they didn't, and sure, they are successful in other things, but some people are going to be successful in the normal route, and some people aren't. And it's pretty clear that I'm in the aren't category, and that I have to forge my own theater, and that sucks. I have to forge my own brand. And I auditioned. I've auditioned so much, and I haven't been involved in a project since August. And I'm going crazy. And so, a couple months ago, I decided I'm not even, like, at the place I wasn't even, like, at the place I am now a couple months ago when I did the Indiegogo. And here I am now. And so, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna figure it out. Don't worry, but right now, I'm going to use YouTube. And, it worked for Justin Bieber. And we both have better haircuts now. So, yeah. But I hope you'll go on this journey with me. This is clearly a long video. I didn't realize it would be in 2 parts, but it is definitely going to be in 2 parts. I can tell. 2 10-minute videos on my webcam. But okay. Thanks. Yeah.